I want to start this conversation with something personal, something that maybe you've never said out loud, but your body, it's been whispering it to you, night after night. Many women over 60, especially those living alone, have shared with me that they often turn to masturbation, not out of desire, but because it helps ease the loneliness. Because sometimes, when the house is quiet and the world feels far away, they just need something to fill the silence. It becomes a quiet habit, a way to feel like they still exist. And let me say this clearly. Masturbation is not wrong. There is nothing shameful about it. Your body at any age still deserves tenderness, pleasure, and aliveness. But I want to ask you something gently. When you touch yourself, is it an act of self-love or just a way to run away from something inside? One of my patients, Linda, she's 68, once told me, "I don't really want to, but late at night when the house is so quiet, I don't know what else to do. I just want to feel something." And then she cried. Have you ever felt like that? The problem isn't the act itself, it's how we approach it. When you touch your body with urgency, with a cluttered mind, or just out of habit. Yes, maybe it gives relief for a moment, but soon that feeling turns into restlessness, into sleeplessness, into this strange kind of emptiness that's hard to name. Biologically, after menopause, our bodies become more sensitive to hormonal shifts. Every time you stimulate yourself, your brain releases dopamine, serotonin, the feel-good chemicals. But when it happens too often, especially at night, when melatonin, your sleep hormone, gets disrupted, you might find yourself trapped in a cycle. The more you do it, the more exhausted you feel. The less you sleep, the more you need it to feel okay. A quiet loop you didn't mean to fall into. And I'm not telling you this to make you afraid. I'm telling you so you can truly listen to your body. Ask yourself, do I feel calm and restored afterward? Or do I feel drained, even a little disconnected from myself? If your answer leans toward exhaustion, maybe, just maybe, what you need isn't more stimulation. It's more connection. And no, I'm not saying you have to stop. You don't need to give it up. You just need to return to it differently. Slower, softer, more present. Because what you're truly seeking isn't just sensation. It's a way back to yourself. And that journey, I promise you, it's never, ever too late to begin again. If this topic touched something in you, don't hesitate to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You never know who else out there might need to hear this too. Now go make yourself a warm cup of tea. Find a quiet, cozy place to sit. And let me tell you about the 6 common mistakes thousands of women over 60 are making, without even realizing it. Shall we begin? Mistake number 1. Touching yourself to avoid your emotions. I want to ask you to pause with me for a moment, just for a moment, and ask yourself quietly, when was the last time you touched your body out of love? And not just because you didn't know what else to do. I've sat across from many women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, women who were once mothers, wives, caretakers for so many others. They spent a lifetime being busy, needed, depended on. And then one day, everything just got quiet. The kids are grown. The partner is gone. The house is still. And in that stillness, something shows up. Not always loud, not always nameable, but real. A kind of loneliness that lives in the silence. I remember one of my patients, Elaine, she's 72, used to be a school teacher. She has 3 kids, 6 grandkids. She told me one afternoon while folding laundry, she suddenly just sat on the edge of her bed and felt nothing. Not happy, not sad, just empty. Then she looked up at me and said, "I don't really feel desire. I only do it, masturbate, because I don't know how else to feel like I exist. My body feels like a shadow. It moves, but it doesn't feel." And my heart went quiet, because I knew Elaine is not alone. Have you ever felt like that? That you touched your body, not out of love, but because you didn't know what to do with the ache in your chest? Some people can't quite put it into words. They just say, "I feel sad afterward, even if I don't know why." Or, "I feel more empty, more tired than before." You see, the issue isn't the act itself. It's the intention behind it. When you touch yourself to escape, to numb the sadness, the loneliness, the weight of memories, your body doesn't open. It contracts. It endures. Your body isn't just skin and nerves. It's a living being. And it knows when you love it, and when you're just using it to get through the night. Over time, when that kind of disconnection repeats over and over, you don't just lose physical pleasure. You lose your connection to your own heart. I once asked another patient, "Do you remember the last time you masturbated and felt happy afterward?" She looked at me for a long while, and then gently shook her head. That moment reminded me of something nobody talks about enough. We don't just need touch. We need soulful touch. Touch with presence. Touch with love. Biologically speaking, when we suppress our emotions, it affects our nervous system. Cortisol, the stress hormone, increases. Sleep becomes shallow. Muscles stay tight even when we're trying to relax. Estrogen and oxytocin, the hormones of connection and pleasure, get disrupted. And eventually, every time you touch your body without being mentally or emotionally present, it's like reaching into the air. No one answers back. And the loneliness only deepens. I want you to picture this. You walk into a dark room. On the table is a small candle still flickering. You don't walk in to blow it out. You walk in to add light, to let it glow a little more. The right kind of touch is just like that. It doesn't come from urgency. It doesn't come from escape. It comes from the quiet desire to reconnect, to relight something inside you. I'm not saying you have to stop touching yourself. Not at all. In fact, I hope you continue, but do it with a different kind of energy. Not to run away, but to come back home. Not to silence your loneliness, but to gently whisper to yourself, "I'm still here. I'm still alive. I can still feel." Before you touch yourself again, try this. Pause. Take a slow, deep breath and ask, "What am I feeling right now? Can I hold that feeling, even just for a second, before I reach for my body?" Even that one honest moment of awareness is already the beginning of healing. And suddenly, something you used to think of as just a habit becomes something sacred, a ritual, not to fill an empty space, but to breathe life back into your heart. Some women have asked me, "But doctor, I don't feel sexy anymore. My skin is wrinkled, my belly sags. What's left to love?" I smile and say, "You've given birth with this body. You've held people when they were falling apart. You've survived things with this body. There is nothing more beautiful, more erotic, than a body that has loved and lived deeply." I want you to know this. Sexuality at 60 or 70 isn't about copying what we did at 20. It's about discovering a new art. The art of presence. The art of being home in your own skin. The art of loving without needing to prove anything. So touch yourself. Not because you feel broken, but because you deserve to feel. Touch yourself like you're greeting an old friend. Someone who's walked with you through everything, and now just wants to be seen, to be welcomed, to be loved. You don't have to run anymore. You only need to return. And every time you do, your body will whisper back to you in the most tender way, I'm not just surviving. I'm still here. And I'm still worthy of love from you. Mistake number 2. Repeating it too often. You know. When we were younger, our bodies were like wild, flowing rivers, quick to recover, full of life. You'd go to bed, wake up the next morning, and it's like everything had reset overnight. It was as if yesterday never even happened. But after 60, things begin to slow down. The body stops shouting and starts to whisper. It speaks in a softer language, more subtle, more tender. And if we don't pause to listen, we can miss the signs it's quietly trying to send us. I remember a patient of mine. Her name's Linda. She's 71. She walked into my office in a state I often call normal, but not okay. No pain, no fever, nothing alarming on her test results. But she was tired, not exhausted, but this strange kind of heaviness, like wearing a coat made of fog. Not heavy enough to collapse you, but just heavy enough to wear you down. I asked her about her diet. Still healthy. Her sleep, 8 hours a night. Then I asked gently, how about your intimacy with yourself? She looked down at her hands, then whispered, almost every night, sometimes twice a day. Not because I want to, but because I don't know what else to do with all this empty time. The TV is too loud. My friends are all busy. And I understood. Because this isn't a moral issue. It's not about desire either. It's about rhythm. The rhythm of life. When self-touch becomes just another routine, a reflex, a background habit, your body no longer has space to recover. After 60, your body isn't functioning the way it did in your 30s. Your nervous system slows. Hormones take longer to rebuild. Feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin don't flood your brain the way they used to. They drip softly, and only when there's time and gentleness. Meanwhile, cortisol, your stress hormone, builds up faster, especially if you're stimulating your body constantly, without pause. And so what happens? You start losing the sense of pleasure. Even if you're doing the same things, you begin to feel heavy, restless, numb. Your sleep becomes patchy. Your mood drifts. And you catch yourself saying things like, I just don't want anything anymore. Have you ever felt like that? Here's the truth I often tell my patients, and it surprises them. You're not doing anything wrong, but maybe you're doing the right thing too often, and at the wrong pace. That's when I suggest something gentle. Take a break, not a punishment, not a rule, just space. Let your body rest. Like a flower that needs time to breathe between blooming. Try it for 7 to 10 days. And then they come back, often a little surprised. I'm sleeping better. I feel lighter in the afternoons. I realized I was touching my body without really being there. And that moves me. Because sometimes we don't need more. We just need less. To give the body a chance to heal. It's like a garden. If you water it constantly every single day, the soil drowns, the roots rot, the flowers refuse to bloom. Your body is the same. It doesn't need to be activated daily. It needs rest, stillness, a quiet rhythm so real emotions can rise again, naturally, not forced. If you've ever wondered, why do I feel empty afterward, even though this used to bring me comfort? Maybe what you're missing isn't pleasure, but pause, a space, a breath, a chance for feeling to return, not because you pushed for it, but because you made room for it. And I want you to know, you're not fading, you're not broken, you're not lacking intimacy. You're simply entering a chapter where everything asks to be met with more patience, more heart. Because intimacy after 60 isn't a race. It's a jazz song. It has highs, it has lows, and it's the silence between the notes that makes the music beautiful. So please, be gentle with your body. Let it wait. Let it breathe. And when you come back to touch, let it be more than a reaction. Let it be a return, a coming home. Let me ask you, are you repeating something over and over, not because you want to, but because you're afraid of what might happen if you stop? If so, I want you to know, you don't have to race. You don't have to chase the feelings you had before. All you have to do is be honest and soft. The rest will follow. Mistake number 3, overexposure to overstimulating content. I want you to picture this. You're sitting in a quiet room. The light is soft. Everything feels calm, gentle, still. You can hear your own breath, the ticking of the clock, the steady beat of your heart. Quiet, but constant. And then, suddenly, someone turns on a screen. The images flash, the sound gets loud, music pounds, scenes jump, lights flicker like a storm of noise. How does your body react? Is your heart racing? Are your hands a little shaky? Do you feel overwhelmed, even if you don't quite know why? That, exactly that, is what's happening in your brain every time you're exposed to highly stimulating sexual content, especially after 60. I remember a patient, Susan, 68. She was a nurse for over 30 years, a woman who had spent her whole life caring for others. She had gently bandaged wounds, wiped foreheads, comforted strangers, and now she was learning how to care for herself. She came into my office one day, a little embarrassed, and said, "Doctor, something's wrong. I still watch the same things I used to, things that I thought helped me feel something. But the more I watch, the more numb I feel. My body doesn't respond like it used to." And I looked at her, and I understood. I told her softly, "There's nothing wrong with you. What's wrong is that what you're watching isn't made for a body that moves with depth. It's made for a market, a world that wants fast reactions, intense highs, and no emotion." You see, most modern pornography isn't created for connection. It's designed for shock value, to grab attention fast, stimulate hard, and keep you watching with more and more intensity. And your brain, no matter how wise it is still a biological system. When it's exposed to too many flashing images, rapid cuts, extreme scenes, it floods with dopamine. That's the brain's way of saying, "This feels good. I'm alive." But over time, just like someone drinking coffee that's too strong too often, Your body stops responding. The gentle things, a look, a soft touch, the feeling of breath on skin, they start to feel muted. Science has a name for this: emotional sensory desensitization. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, like a leaf that doesn't fall all at once but dries up, cell by cell. And one day, you find yourself sitting in front of a screen, not because you want to, but because it's become a routine. There's no spark, no warmth, just a repeated behavior out of boredom, habit, or emptiness. I've asked many retired women, when you're not watching anything, can you still feel aroused? Can you still connect with your body? Sometimes the room goes silent. I can hear a long breath, and sometimes I see tears, not because they feel ashamed, but because they've lost something. Something quiet. Something sacred. And it wasn't stolen. It just slipped away in the noise and hurry. The truth is, real intimacy doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come from what you see. It comes from being fully present. In your mind, in your body, in your heart. And presence takes stillness, slowness, and a quiet heart willing to listen to what's inside. I once led a small group of women through a little experiment. I asked them to stop all visual stimulation, no porn, no erotic media, for 7 days. No images, no videos, just themselves, each night with a candle, some soft music, a hand resting gently on the chest. You know what happened? It wasn't easy at first. Some felt restless, some felt lost. But by day 4 or 5, something started to change. I started to feel the warmth of my own skin. I could hear my heart beat, and I thought it's beautiful. I touched my wrist and felt something I hadn't in years. You see, your body is still here. Your emotions haven't gone. They're just buried under a layer of noise, habit, overstimulation. And the most beautiful part is, you can come back at any time. I'm not saying you need to quit everything forever. Not at all. I'm simply inviting you to slow it down. Lessen the intensity. Watch gentler content, or maybe pause for a week. Let your body feel, not through a screen, but through your own presence. Tonight, try this. Place your hand on your chest. Close your eyes. Take a deep, slow breath, and ask yourself, is there something inside me that's been waiting to be felt, but I've been too distracted to notice? Because after 60, your body isn't looking for release anymore. It's looking for love. Not love through flashing lights or scripted scenes, but love through a tender touch from you. You don't need something harder to feel alive. You need something more honest. You don't need to prove you still have desire. You just need to reconnect with the part of you that still knows how to feel. And I promise, once you come back to yourself, you'll be amazed by what still lives inside you. Beneath the wrinkles, beneath the silver hair, beneath the quiet breath of age, is a river, slower now, but deeper, and more sacred than ever. You haven't grown weak. You've simply entered a chapter where sensitivity is your new strength. So choose to slow down, choose to come home, and one day, when you touch yourself, not because of a screen, but because of a true feeling, you'll hear your body whisper back, "Thank you." Thank you for seeing me, not with your eyes, but with your heart. Mistake number 4, staying still when you touch yourself. I want to invite you to try something small, right now if you can. Sit up a little straighter, relax your shoulders. Now gently turn your head to the left and then to the right. No rush, no force, just feel it. Did you hear a little crack? Or maybe feel a subtle warmth spread down your spine? You see, after 60, our bodies don't respond as quickly as they used to. They need an invitation, a gentle awakening. Like the morning sun, it never bursts in. It arrives slowly, with softness. And yet, when it comes to self-touch, many people lie still, motionless. Only their hands move, no shifting positions, no flow through the rest of the body, just stillness. And then they wonder, why can't I feel anything? Why does it all feel so flat, so numb? I once asked a patient, when you touch yourself, do you sit up? Do you sway? Do you move with your body? She looked surprised. I thought staying still was the right way, she said. And I smiled. Because that's more common than we think. But here's the truth. Sensation doesn't just come from your hands. It comes from your whole body. When you don't move, blood doesn't flow well, especially to your pelvic area, the place where most of your pleasure nerves live. That area needs blood circulation to send signals to the brain. If you're completely still, no movement, no activation, it's like trying to light a fire with damp wood. There's nothing to catch, no warmth to spread. You need movement, not heavy exercise, but gentle, mindful motion. I once guided a patient, Carol, 66, through a simple practice. Before touching herself, I asked her to do just this. Sit up on the bed, roll her shoulders a few times, stretch her arms to the ceiling like greeting the morning sun, and then gently sway her body, like she was moving to a favorite slow song. Just 3 minutes. 2 weeks later, she called me. Her voice sounded light, joyful, almost like a young woman discovering her body for the first time. I couldn't believe it, she said. Just that little bit of movement. And suddenly, I felt again, like a current running through me, not electric, not shocking, just soft, warm. And I felt emotional listening to her, because it reminded me, we're not just hands, we are bodies, capable of memory, emotion, and deep sensation, if gently awakened. You can try this yourself. Before you touch your body, take a few steps around the room. Touch the wall. Run your hand through a curtain. Step outside and feel the air. Even dance a little. To music you love. Not to prepare for anything, but to send a message to your body. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm ready to connect. Because after a long day of sitting, thinking, or feeling heavy, the body doesn't just open up on command. It needs you to knock, softly, consistently. There's no magic button, no switch you flip, and suddenly, pleasure. The real magic is when you touch yourself as if you're dancing with your own soul. And what you receive back isn't loud, isn't rushed, but oh, it's real. Your body is not a light switch. It's a symphony. And that symphony needs movement, even small ones, to let the music return. One of my favorite little exercises I call awakening sensation through small movements. Try it. Sit or stand. Gently sway your hips, like you're sitting on a soft chair in a jazz lounge. At the same time, let your hands visit your body, your chest, your belly, your thighs, not with a goal, not with an expectation, but like you're visiting an old friend, someone you haven't seen in a long time. And if after that you feel ready to go further, wonderful. And if not, that's okay too. Because even that moment was enough to bring your body back to life. You see, movement isn't just about circulation. It's how your body remembers. I'm still alive. I can still feel. After 60, movement doesn't need to be fast or strong. It just needs to be present. You don't have to dance like a performer. Just roll your shoulders. Sway your hips. Reach upward. Place a bare foot on the cool floor and really feel it. Every small movement is a whisper. I still feel. I still live inside this body. And I know it might feel strange at first. You might feel awkward, uncertain. It might not look like anything you thought desire or pleasure used to be. But let me tell you this, from someone who's spent a lifetime listening to women and their stories. True sensation doesn't come from doing it right. It comes from allowing your whole body to take part. Not just your hands, not just your mind, but you, all of you, moving like a living stream. Try it tonight, if you feel up for it. Before you touch yourself, stand. Place both bare feet on the floor. Gently bend your knees. Roll your wrists. Sway your knees like drawing soft circles in the air. Then, place your hand on your heart and ask, "Hey, body, how would you like me to approach you tonight?" You don't have to force, just invite. And you'll see, sensation doesn't come from pushing. It comes from presence. Because you know what? After 60, your emotions don't disappear. They just wait for you to come a little slower, a little softer, and with a movement that has soul. Mistake number 5. Ignoring your pelvic floor health. There's a small, quiet place in your body, tucked away, easy to overlook. But it holds so much of your story. Emotionally, physically, energetically. That place, is called the pelvic floor. You might not hear about it much in daily life, but if you've given birth, if you've gone through menopause, if you've dealt with leaks or felt disconnected when touching yourself, chances are this is the part of you that's gently asking for attention. Let me tell you a story. One of my patients, Joanne, 70, was a strong woman. Used to be a fitness instructor. She was graceful, energetic, the kind of woman who walked like she owned the sidewalk. But in recent years, whenever she tried to touch herself, to reconnect with her body, she began to feel pain. Not sharp pain, but a dull ache, like a door that once opened easily was now quietly closed. At first, she thought, I guess this is just age. I'm getting old. But after some gentle questions and an exam, I realized something. Joanne was still using the same habits she'd had at 30, the same fast movements, the same pressure. Only now, her body was no longer 30. You see, the pelvic floor is a group of small muscles that sit at the base of your pelvis. They support your bladder, uterus, rectum, and the entire vaginal region. They're the meeting place of function and feeling. After 60, with hormonal changes, especially less estrogen, the pelvic floor often becomes weaker, drier, and more sensitive. It's like a garden that's seen many seasons. It doesn't like being stomped on. It wants a gentle hand. But so many women, like Joanne, are still following their old muscle memory, pushing hard, skipping warm-up, forgetting to invite the body in before touching it. And that doesn't just cause pain. It can lead to inflammation, muscle tightening, dryness, and the most painful loss of all, the loss of sensation. In one of my pelvic healing groups, I asked, have you ever felt like your pelvic area just turned off? No response, no sensation. Like someone flipped the lights out? Many women nodded. Some gave a soft laugh. Some wiped away a tear. But here's the truth. It doesn't mean you've lost the ability to feel. It just means your body is asking you to come back in a different way. So what can you do? First, slow down. The pelvic floor doesn't like rush. Start by gently warming the area before any intimate touch. A warm towel over your lower belly. A few deep breaths, coordinated with soft, mindful contractions of the pelvic floor. Or simply placing a hand there and whispering, I'm here. I see you. I call this the invitation ritual. Just 2-3 minutes, but it tells your body, I'm not barging in. I'm knocking gently. Second, try doing Kegels, but with soul. I'm not talking about clenching like it's a workout. Breathe in and gently lift the pelvic floor, like lifting a soft petal with your breath. Breathe out and let it soften, like letting water return to the earth. Just 5 minutes a day, before bed, after waking, no strain, no forcing, just awareness that this part of me is still alive, and I am listening. Third, and maybe most important, change how you touch yourself. Don't assume that more pressure is better. After 60, less is often more. Move slowly. Use soft lighting. Put on quiet music. Place a soft pillow under your back. And don't skip the warm-up. Some older friends once told me, I feel embarrassed needing warm-up. Like I'm broken or less than. I looked at them and said, no, you're not broken. Your body just deserves a gracious invitation. Try to imagine this. Your body is an old house. A house that once echoed with laughter, the sound of children, the music of love. Now it's quieter. But the memories, the echoes, are still in the walls, the floor, the curtains. You can't storm in. You have to pause. Place your hand gently on the doorknob, take a breath, and enter slowly. And when you do, the body won't just open the door. It will invite you to stay. I know, talking about down there, about inflammation, about pelvic muscles, it's not easy. Many of us have stayed silent for decades, but silence, if held too long, becomes a different kind of silence. The quiet grief of losing your own connection. And I don't want that for you. Because I believe at 60, at 70, even at 80, your body still knows how to love. You just need to relearn how to love it. With knowledge. With slowness. With touch that carries a heart. You can start tonight. You don't need to do anything big, just take a breath. Place your hand over your lower belly and say softly, I know you're still here, and I'm ready to listen. Remember this, the pelvic floor may be a small area, but when it's loved the right way, it can awaken an entire sky of feeling, and you, my dear, you hold the key. Mistake number 6, touching without feeling, just to get it over with. I want to start today with a simple yet deeply honest question. The last time you touched yourself, did you cry? I know, it sounds like a strange question, But I'm not asking if you were sad. I'm asking, did you really feel something real? Many women have come to me and said, I still masturbate regularly. I still go through all the steps. But honestly, it feels like I'm walking through an empty room. And I usually pause for a moment, then gently ask, do you really want to touch yourself? Or are you just trying to fill a quiet, lonely space? Are you hoping something will happen? Or are you just trying to finish quickly and move on? You know, one of the most subtle mistakes we can make is treating self-touch like a chore, like something we do just to check a box, soothe a moment of restlessness, or survive another long, silent night. I call it touching without feeling. Your hands are moving. Your body might respond a little, but your heart, your mind, isn't there. You're not really with yourself. You're just getting through it. And the sad part is, the more you do it like this, the more you lose real connection. One of my patients, Darlene, she's 74, once sighed during a session and said, I don't know if I'm doing it because I want to or because I think I should. Part of me longs for closeness, but another part of me just wants it done and over. I finish, wash my hands, and move on like I just finished doing the dishes. And I just sat there, quiet. Not because she said anything wrong, but because I know how many women live like this and don't have the words to name it. You see, feeling doesn't come from the act itself. It comes from why we're doing it. If you're touching your body, but your heart feels empty, unseen, unloved, unheard, then no matter how correct your technique is, your soul stays silent. I once asked Darlene, if you don't touch yourself tonight, how will you feel? She went quiet, then softly said, I'll feel like no one needs me, like no one sees me, like no one wants to be close to me anymore. So I held her hand and said, then maybe tonight you don't need to touch. You need a hug. And if no one else is there to hug you, at least let you start by holding yourself. Because you know what? A lot of women don't masturbate out of desire. They do it to feel some kind of connection, any kind, even if it's brief. But if we keep doing it without heart, the body slowly starts to close the door to feeling. Not because you're old, but because it's been a long time since you truly asked yourself what you need. So I want you to imagine this. You walk into a room. An old friend is sitting there waiting. No one says anything. You just look at each other. And then you hug them. No agenda, no goal, just presence. That's how you can begin again with yourself. Because if every time you touch yourself, you're disconnected, then your body stops being a place to come home to. It becomes a place you run away from. And I don't want that for you. You've spent a lifetime caring for others. Now what you truly deserve is to touch the softest part of yourself. Not with technique, but with your heart. So where do you begin? Let me offer something small. Tonight, instead of reaching for your body right away, try this. Write down, what am I feeling right now? What am I truly needing? Am I trying to fill an emotional hole with physical touch? Don't judge your answers. Just see them. And when you see them clearly, you begin to heal. And if after that you still want to touch, then do it like you're cradling a child. Slow. Without expectation. Without rushing. Touch to comfort. Touch to say, I'm not abandoning you. I'm not in a hurry. I'm right here with you. And your body, whether you're 60 or 90, will understand that. And something beautiful will happen. The feeling will return. But not just pleasure, life. So if there's one thing I want you to remember from today, it's this. Don't touch just to get it over with. Touch to remind yourself that you are still here, that you're still full of feeling, still full of worth, still home. My dear friend, we've just walked through 7 common mistakes older women often make when reconnecting with their bodies through touch. And maybe now you realize it's not about the act of masturbation. It's about how we treat ourselves in those sacred moments. There's no shame in mistakes, only misunderstandings that need a bit of light and a whole lot of gentleness. And if you've stayed with me this far, that means you're already on the path home, to your body, to your feelings, to yourself, with new respect, patience, and love. Remember this, your body is not outdated. It's just speaking a different language now, slower, deeper, more honest. And that language deserves to be heard every single day. If this video touched something in you, please hit subscribe. And maybe share it with a friend who needs to hear this too. And if you're ready to keep going, to keep exploring, healing, and reconnecting, drop a comment below that says, "I'm ready." I read every one, and I promise, I'll keep creating content that's soft, honest, and strong enough to touch your heart. You deserve love, not because you're young, not because you're perfect, but because you're still here, still feeling, still trying to come home to yourself with so much courage. And if today you didn't feel much, that's okay too. Just stay with yourself one more day, gently. Because that feeling, it will return. Touching yourself should never be about escaping loneliness. It should be a whisper to your own heart. I'm still here, and I still deserve love.